I am a 25-year-old female and was planning to have sex with the guy I have been seeing for 6 weeks for the first time yesterday. We have slept in the same bed together twice without doing anything because I didn't feel ready, which he was respectful of. However, when it finally got to that point yesterday, he was aroused until attempting to proceed and then lost it. I have never experienced this before and felt a little bad for him, but was also wondering if it was because of me. From a guy's perspective, what is the best way for me to reassure him that it is okay? He later admitted to overthinking it and feeling bad. Story 1. First-time jitters or performance anxiety. He's overly worried about it all, and that ruins the mood in his mind. Maybe let him know it's all right, and you can try again when he's more relaxed and comfortable. Story 2. That's what happens when you think about losing an erection during sex. It creates self-awareness that you might fail and it can happen. Just tell him the truth. That he's attractive and you are looking forward to spending time together and being intimate if it works out. If it does happen, don't make it a big deal. Tell him you need to have a little chat with him and make it sexy. Use your hands or whatever you're comfortable with to get the blood flowing again. Sex is like golf. 30% physical and 70% mental. Story 3. Had that happen with my girlfriend of now 7 years when we tried the first time. It's most likely nothing more than stress and anxiety, nothing to do with you. It's going to be fine eventually as long as you don't make him feel uncomfortable about it. Just keep going as usual with life and your relationship, and it should turn out fine. Story 4. It wasn't you. Young people very rarely have erectile dysfunction. More than likely, he got nervous and worried about failing, which caused it to go soft. This is actually a common occurrence. I work in a medical practice here in Ireland, and we see it often. Just give him time, as he might not be completely comfortable yet. Also, make sure he isn't getting in his own head about it. Sex is 70% about your mental state. Story 5. Okay, so I also couldn't get it up on my first time. I drank half a bottle of wine that night. Make sure he knows you don't mind taking your time. He already feels bad and emasculated. Tell him how you want to be intimate with him and that you don't mind if it happens today or tomorrow. You should make him comfortable. Overthinking will just make it worse. Story 6. I'm the same way. My first time with someone takes me a while to get comfortable enough for it to happen naturally. No expectations, just getting caught in the right moment. Story 7. Just assure your partner and avoid teasing him. Help him relax more, avoid adult content if possible, and enjoy each other's company, and you won't experience the same incident. Story 8. This happened to me before. It was after my girlfriend of 7 years and I broke up. I started seeing a girl I worked with. We got to the point where we wanted to start having sex with each other, and the same thing happened. I would be aroused, but after getting started, I would just lose all blood flow. This happened a few times. I concluded I wasn't ready to be with another girl yet, so we stopped seeing each other. A few months later, I started seeing another girl and had zero issues with her. Story 9. This is very common. First-time jitters, probably because he really likes you. No need to address it. He'll figure it out. It might take a few tries until the nerves go away. This used to happen to me when I would have sex for the first time with girls I really liked. Maybe get a couple of drinks in him first. Story 10. I've experienced this myself, and as others have mentioned, it's really just about getting into your own head and overthinking. I've resolved those situations before, but it always required my partner doing more than just waiting for me to initiate. That's a lot of pressure and doesn't help at all. If you engage physically, like putting your body on me or distracting me so I think about something else, and then give me a minute without checking immediately if I'm ready, it definitely works. Story 11. It happened to me too with my then girlfriend. It was not a big deal to me. I think next time, just put it in quickly and don't bring this matter up. Story 12. Sexual pleasure has a lot to do with feeling safe and comfortable with your partner. It is probably psychological. If it isn't, let him know that you are open to exploring solutions together or letting him find a solution for himself and that you will be supportive. Explore other methods of sex that may not involve penetration and let him know that he can talk to you about anything if he means a lot to you. Story 13. He was nervous. Just ignore it. It may happen again, but the more attention you give it, the worse it will be for him. Some men are terrified of performing poorly at sex, and that pressure makes them go numb. It's not you. Story 14. This has happened to me a few times, especially the first time when I've slept with a woman I liked a lot. It's generally a good sign and should resolve itself quickly at that age. Go have fun. He probably really wants to be with you right now. Story 15. It's pretty much never the woman. There are lots of reasons for erectile dysfunction issues like anxiety, depression, low testosterone, antidepressants, and alcohol, but I have never heard of it being caused by a woman not being attractive enough. Story 16. Anxiety. I've been there before. Even now, as I work out of town a lot. The first night home with my wife, sometimes things just don't work like they should. We men get all in our heads, at least I do. Story 17. Did not expect to get so many replies. Thank you. I probably won't bring it up directly, but at the same time, it's important for me that he knows it doesn't bother me. We'll see if he says anything on the weekend. Story 18. Give him a massage while he is on his back. After a legitimate massage, focus on the inner thighs, slowly and lightly, and occasionally let a fingernail brush against his scrotum and his buttocks. Lightly and slowly, act as if you didn't mean to. Gradually make more contact with his scrotum. Ask him to raise his knees a bit, halfway up, and tell him you need to stimulate him orally. If he is not responsive, he may not be interested. That was just a joke. But he should be ready to change positions. Story 19. Performance anxiety. Exactly. Nerves and overthinking will do it. For me, it's best if my girlfriend doesn't say anything and we just focus on kissing and touching while I recover. Story 20. Focus on non-personally identifiable information stuff, both giving and receiving. Most people skip that step once they get a bit older, but it will build mental attraction and create trust. Story 21. It happens a lot the first time, and it likely doesn't have anything to do with you. Don't worry. Tell him you are okay with it not always working, and he can take his time. Story 22. He was overly nervous in that situation. I was in his place after I left a long-term 10-year relationship. When I got together with women, the exact same thing happened. It got difficult, and then my brain kicked in. There might be one way you can react to help him. Tell him you don't care at all, but you want to make out anyway. Be passionate, kiss, and touch each other. Let him try out oral on you if you can. It might be a chance for him to get out of his head, but give him time and be understanding. This is pretty embarrassing for him. Most probably, he is so into you that he is full of fear of messing up. It's definitely not that he doesn't find you attractive. The other option you have is suggesting medication like Viagra, but good luck bringing that up. It still takes a good amount of empathy from you to talk about it openly. If you can solve this problem, it will soon become a no-brainer for you to have a fulfilling experience. Just show him that it's not a big problem, and you can wait just as patiently as he did. Story 23. It's pretty normal, especially if you have been seeing each other for a while and there was some expectation. He probably got in his head about trying to perform, and then it didn't happen. You should be flattered because it's more likely to happen if he was worried about making a good impression. Story 24. If he's nervous or scared, it will kill the erection. Please don't take any offense, as this will only add pressure and make it worse. We really can't help it in any way, and this is why Viagra is popular. Story 25. I always have erectile dysfunction the first time I am sleeping with someone. It usually corrects itself after the second or third time. Story 26. Did you try oral or manual stimulation to get it hard again? Usually, if a guy loses his erection in a situation like this, he may need a little help getting it back. Story 27. Condoms, performance anxiety, he watches too much pornography, he's worried he'll climax too quickly, or a mix of all the above. The first one is obviously something to focus on. You can help with the rest. Story 28. As he said, it was probably just some performance anxiety. Because I haven't seen it mentioned, was he properly hydrated? Being properly hydrated improves blood flow, and erections are all about blood flow. Sometimes I have trouble reaching full mast if I've been drinking alcohol, or if I haven't drunk enough water throughout the day. Taking a short break to drink a liter of water can work wonders. Story 29. My girlfriend in college was a straight-up Hawaiian beauty, and the first time we were intimate, I became nervous and lost my composure before we even started. I had to excuse myself to the bathroom to collect myself and think, "What are you doing?" But yes, nerves do happen. Next time, it should be fine. As another person mentioned, don't make a big deal about it. He just needs to get comfortable. Story 30. This happened to me my first time too. It's just nerves. I assure you this doesn't have anything to do with his attraction or how much he cares about you. If you want to try to help next time, you can try making out with him, doing something sexual to him, let him go down on you or touch you. Start breathing in his ear or nibbling his ear. There are many different things that will arouse people differently. Half the fun is exploring them with your partner and finding out what works for both of you. Story 31. There is an expectation that men's bodies are just ready whenever they need to be. Mental battles dismissed. That expectation is not based in reality. Despite being universally seen as unfeeling and unsophisticated, men do have thoughts and worries. Chief among them is the concern, I hope I can meet expectations. And from that point, it's downhill. Story 32. Probably nervous. But honestly, guys can need things just as much as women. Personally, I can't do it if I'm even remotely hungry. It's just not going to happen. Story 33. Get a guy hard. Then tell a good joke to get him laughing and watch it slowly deflate. We have no control over it and cannot immediately reinflate. Story 34. Literally, don't make a big deal of it. Shrug it off and get back to it another day. Bringing it up again will constantly keep it in his mind and make it worse. Story 35. My experience as a woman. It isn't uncommon for this to happen the first few times. When it occurs, I just tell him it's okay and engage in intimate activities that don't involve the penis. We can have a lot of fun without requiring full arousal, and that's what I'm there for, fun with him. The penis will act more comfortably and join in when it's ready. Not making a big deal out of it is the best way to alleviate discomfort. I was a 13-year-old girl when they taught me this during biology class, and it was one of the best lessons learned. Story 36. What do you mean by how do you approach this? You tell him it's going to be okay, and you try again next time. Story 37. It is most likely a mental block or fear that caused this. Could also be a physiological or health issue, but at your age, it can be overcome. Story 38. It is rarely the woman's issue that a man loses his erection. If it were her fault, he wouldn't be aroused. Story 39. Yeah, he's just nervous. Tell him it doesn't matter if he's hard or not, that it's fun just messing around with him. Keep the mood light. If he doesn't feel pressure to perform a certain way, then he won't overthink things so much. You're obviously not pressuring him, but he is overthinking and putting pressure on himself. As a woman, I think I'd likely have trouble keeping erections at times if I were a man. Unfortunately, the first boyfriend I ever had and another one I had years later both said they didn't like it when the woman was on top because it doesn't hit the spot for them or doesn't give them enough sensation. So that has always made me wonder if I'm just bad at being on top, like I just don't do it right, if that makes sense. I have a life partner now who doesn't hate woman on top, but I notice he never picks that position unless I suggest it. So yeah, if I were ever single again, which I won't be anyway, but if I were, I don't even think I'd want to be on top or be able to be on top without being all in my head about it with a new partner because it's never been encouraged or appreciated any of the times I've been excited to do that position. I've also never gotten to really practice it much over the couple of decades that I've been sexually active due to no one really ever wanting me to, so I'd feel so rusty at it now. It's the only position that no guy has ever wanted me to do much and the only one where I, as the woman, would be doing most of the work and creating the experience. So yeah, if I were dating a guy and he was like, I want you to ride me, I'd be so excited but so nervously hesitant at this point to even attempt it. The whole time I'd be thinking stuff like, am I doing it right? Does he even like this? Is he just trying to be polite? Why did he just make that facial expression? Is that good or bad? So if I were a guy, I doubt I'd be able to keep an erection with a dozen thoughts like that going around in my head. Story 40. Oh man, the first 3 times my girlfriend and I, who've been together for the past 4 years, tried to have sex, I couldn't get aroused. I liked her so much and was so nervous and in my own head that it just wasn't going to happen, so I ended up ordering some Blue Chew with a podcast code. But I never used it. I just needed the security of it, I think. Story 41. The same happens to me almost every time I'm with a woman for the first time. I let them know ahead of time. If he doesn't bring it up, you don't bring it up. Can be really embarrassing, and if he gets in his head, it'll happen again. If it does, just reassure him that it's okay. After a few times, it might be a non-issue. For me, it can happen randomly through a relationship if I'm tired or stressed. Some of us just carry the curse. He wouldn't have spent 6 weeks with you, plus 2 nights sleeping with you, before trying to have sex if he wasn't attracted to you. Story 42. First, I'd say it's very rarely the woman. If there was something about you that would kill his erection, I doubt he'd be there wanting to have sex with you. Overthinking and performance anxiety are definitely likely causes, but I'll mention a couple more things that can cause performance issues for me: heavy drinking and exhaustion. So if your dates involve a lot of drinking, try to reduce that. And try to have dates in a manner where he can still feel relaxed and well-rested afterward. Story 43. You've received many answers so far, but from my experience with this issue, I can share 2 things that helped me resolve it. Never make it about you. It's not because he isn't attracted to you or doesn't love you. It has nothing to do with you. It's about nerves and anxiety. If he thinks he might lose his erection, he likely will. Until he can get out of his own head, he'll continue to have issues. The worst thing you can do is express insecurity about the situation, as that will only increase his anxiety. Use lubrication and give him a manual stimulation until he becomes aroused again. Trust me, this was a significant improvement. Story 44. It's just nervousness. Let it go and let him feel more comfortable. This happened to me numerous times during my 23-year marriage, and other times my issue wouldn't subside no matter how many times I finished. It isn't you or him, it's just biology. Keep at it and things will work out fine. Story 45. Lots of things can be the cause, and sometimes men don't even know why a specific situation causes it to not stay up or go up. If you are understanding, don't make fun of him, and give him the time he needs. It will eventually sort itself out. It might take a while, and he could ask to do it another day. It's always a difficult situation since not all men will react or feel the same, especially if they like you a lot. They might feel really bad. Story 46. Honestly, anxiety and nerves can be a huge challenge. The best thing you can do is minimize its importance and show that you still want to participate in activities with him. Especially in the moment, if you notice it happening, do what you can to move on and keep things going in other ways. If it happens regularly, there might be other health-related issues. It's also possible that a simple anxiety medication could be all that is needed. Story 47. I had the biggest crush on my wife before we started dating. When it finally came time to get down to business, I was so nervous about performing I could not get it up. This happened 2 more times afterwards. Thankfully, she understood and gave me a 4th chance, and the rest is history. We have the most amazing sex life now. Story 48. Female here, but I want to stress how important it is that we react in a supportive and non-judgmental way. It's like when you're so close to an orgasm, and you start to stress about how you look to him, and it all disappears. It's not anyone doing anything wrong. It's just the mind being difficult. In my experience, just pulling things back a bit, checking in, and seeing where he's at goes a long way. Does he want to keep making out and see if things resolve? Maybe use a toy and ask if he wants to help you climax. Taking the pressure and focus off him completely. You'll be satisfied, and sometimes that alone is enough to get him back in the moment. Story 49. Men often overthink sex. The fact that you were not comfortable with it at first made him anxious. You should wait for him to engage and let him choose when and how it will happen. Allow him to be in control and ensure that you acknowledge you are his. Story 50. Last time it happened to me, I think we both left feeling pretty bad. So I sent him a long message basically saying that I don't want either of us to leave feeling that way, as I had assumed based on the ensuing awkwardness that he maybe felt odd too. I reiterated that communication is really important, and if we could work on communicating our comfort levels or how we are feeling, it would be a better experience for both of us next time. I also reminded him that I don't need him to necessarily perform to make me feel good, and there are always other ways to get there, and that I'd also be fine just making out. It makes no difference to me. He responded saying he has bad performance anxiety and that he actually really appreciated me being open with him instead of just ignoring him. I think because I made him more comfortable, we have not had any issues since. Story 51. Performance anxiety. Reassure him that there is no pressure and that you just want to have a good time, but there are no mind-blowing expectations. Start slowly. Ask him what his favorite position is and start there. Story 52. Most likely performance anxiety on his part, especially if he cares for you and wants to be a great lover. It's difficult for a guy when nerves affect physical performance. Take it slow next time, support him, and talk. Story 53. It's just stage fright or performance anxiety. He will be fine. Continue to try intimacy with him, and his comfort level will rise. Story 54. Repeat to yourself, this is not about you. Seriously, like 100 times. Help him figure out if it was nerves, pressure, or something else and assist him with it. Most importantly, go easy on him. This is an ego-shattering experience. Could be mental or something could have happened to him. I had a leaking vein that caused me problems for a while and severely impacted my confidence. It's been fixed for a while now, and I'm just so glad that time in my life is over. Story 55. He was probably so worried by your previous reluctance that he had a momentary thought of, what if she doesn't like it inside? Or what if she calls it rape? It's up to you now to reassure him this is something you want. The poor guy was probably quite stressed out. Story 56. Best thing is to completely forget about it. From your perspective, it has nothing to do with you or how attractive you are. None of that matters. You're awesome, and I'm sure you've noticed the situation on more than one occasion. Certainly isn't you, and it's not really him either. It's just one of those rather embarrassing, unfortunate experiences that we should immediately forget, as if it never happened. His hope is that you'll never talk about it or mention it again. There's a 99.99% chance it was just first-time jitters that got into his head. Maybe you talked about his mom in some totally innocent way. Either way, it's best to just forget it and let the good times roll for the next time. Story 57. He more than likely just got too nervous or scared and lost the groove of it. Don't stop seeing him over a hiccup in a plan that can happen later. Story 58. Just tell him it's okay. He knows it's not that deep. What will stress him out is worrying that you think it's an issue. He'll stress that you think it's something you did wrong or that you think he's less manly for it. He knows it's just something that happens sometimes. You just have to let him know you understand that too. Story 59. I never had an orgasm before I met my spouse, and it is hard for me to have one until I feel my spouse is getting into it. Sometimes I can go all night and not have one. Other times my spouse starts to moan and I have one quickly. Story 60. He was probably just preoccupied with being nervous. Believe it or not, most of the time when a guy can't maintain an erection, it doesn't have anything to do with the actual girl. Usually something else is going on. Don't make it about yourself and be upset. Just give him reassurance. Tell him you're excited, and try again another time. Story 61. Happened to me with my wife the first couple of times. I was so nervous that I lost it, and then you start thinking about it even more. What helped me was that she stayed positive and reassured me. Then she used foreplay to get me ready, and we just went for it. It worked, and I haven't had a problem in 8 years since. Story 62. We've slept in the same bed together twice without doing anything because I didn't feel ready, which he was respectful of. This is his version of not being fully ready. He got in his own head, and that caused it to fail. Time for you to reciprocate the patience and respect. Most of all, do not take it personally. He's likely already in a ridiculous amount of mental anguish and embarrassment over this. The last thing he needs is the guilt of his partner being offended or upset by it. Story 63. It's just first-time nerves. He probably likes you and feels a lot of pressure. Story 64. You called a no-go on him twice, so now his head is messed up because he's had to dial back his desire twice. Is it possible for you to put in some extra effort to turn him on with foreplay? Have you tried being more assertive in kissing him and making him feel desired? Pleasuring him could help too. Source: I've been with partners ranging from frigid to very open, and the latter is much easier to connect with. Story 65. Never had that problem when young, but I know a lot of people do. Now that I'm older, I have a trick I use that helps me. I just use my mind to think about a time when I had the best experience of my life. Your mind is the best asset you have. He needs to learn to use it. Story 66. I'm going to use myself as an example for this. He might be the same way. I don't really have experience with one-night stands or anything like that and have only been with people I've been in a relationship with. There is definitely more of a performance anxiety aspect, like the first time might not go smoothly, but every time after that, no issue. Might as well give it a second try. Maybe also try building up the tension a bit beforehand. That can't hurt. Story 67. Not saying this was the problem, but it's important to mention that it's good if both individuals have showered before intimacy, especially early in the relationship. I ended an intimate encounter because she didn't shower after working a day lifting elderly people out of bed. So she smelled strongly of dried sweat and urine. Again, not saying you have that problem, but the fresher and mintier one is, the better it is. So if anyone has spinach pasta for dinner, maybe brush teeth before kissing. Story 68. Very high chance he got first-time jitters. Way less chance there are any problems. Has he had any problems with opiates? My buddy couldn't get it up at all on his recovery medications, even at 25. Story 69. Making sure he gets enough sleep will help too. If he's always staying up late, this can be one of the undesirable side effects. Story 70. Honestly, sometimes trying to maintain an erection during sex is like meditating to achieve enlightenment. Overthinking things is a real mood killer. Story 71. 6 weeks of build-up, and then the big day came when he needed to perform. A lot of pressure, not your fault at all. Story 72. I've had this happen before as well. It's more common than you think. He was most likely overthinking and had performance anxiety. Story 73. If he was hard for a while, why on earth would you think it was you? It is very likely it was just the nerves of, okay, it's go time. I've noticed what I perceive to be an increase in discussions about performance anxiety on Reddit over the last couple of years. My unprofessional hypothesis is that, post-COVID and with the stress of late-stage capitalism, people are more stressed than ever, which is manifesting as performance anxiety or erectile dysfunction. The good news is that it will get better with time and as he becomes more comfortable with you. I'm sure theater professionals can tell you all about the dynamic of rock-solid rehearsals followed by nerves on the first night of performance. Story 74. Hey, give the guy a second chance. He's nervous. That's a lot of pressure. To be honest, that should be a compliment to you when you think about it. Story 75. Act like it's okay. Maybe next time it's just a makeout session, and then a makeout session with hand stuff, and then add in some mouth stuff. Basically, allow him to feel comfortable with you touching it and being naked with you. He'll be banging like a drum in no time. Story 76. Do not say too often, it's all right. It happens. It's a good idea to lie close to him. Just cuddle with him to make him more comfortable. Story 77. He's nervous. More foreplay next time. I was like this when I was 16, 17, and 18. Embarrassing as fuck, and the girls always thought it was them. Story 78. He admitted to overthinking it later and feeling bad. It sounds like you talked about it and he gave you an answer. In many societies, there's the pervasive image of men thinking about sex constantly and always wanting to have it, regardless of the circumstance. This obviously isn't true, and it's perfectly reasonable for someone to not be in the right headspace for it in the moment. I can't get inside your man's head and speak for him. However, I would strongly suggest you do your best not to worry when it's only a single event like this. He might have had problems for entirely normal reasons that have nothing to do with you personally or how he sees you. Story 79. I would suggest helping him feel more relaxed by creating natural circumstances for it to happen. Putting too much effort into it might make him feel stressed, but saying the right things can be appealing. Try making it impromptu, like outside the bedroom. making out in the kitchen and then asking to do it right there while he is already prepared. The bedroom might put him in a headspace where he is expecting it, giving him too much time to overthink. Story 80. I had this experience with my ex. I thought he was just overthinking or feeling anxious about it. We broke up a month later and he came out as gay. Story 81. A lot of erectile dysfunction is mental. He probably overthought it and psyched himself out. The best thing you can do is reassure him that you still think well of him and want him. Story 82. Nothing wrong with you. On the contrary, it's just some performance anxiety. Give him time and support. Story 83. Well, he has hands and a mouth. You don't need an erect penis to have sex. Besides that, when planning sex, my penis usually doesn't cooperate with me. It has to be spontaneous for me to be really aroused. If a guy is in his head, it's hard to maintain it, so do something else to get him out of his head. Story 84. Overthinking. Anxiety. Basic stuff. Mainly the original poster has nothing to do with you or his attraction towards you. And it has nothing to do with him not being turned on, because I guarantee he still very much is. It's his own head messing it up. In my experience, when this has happened, I just needed more foreplay beforehand and the rest was smooth sailing. Story 85. The best thing to do is to make it a non-issue. Act as if you would feel fine even if it happened the next 10 times. Mental awareness, performance anxiety, and pressure can block you from achieving your goals. If I ever feel rushed, I can't get there. If I feel anxiety creeping in, I say out loud, I'll be ready when I'm ready. And as soon as it's out there, the pressure is gone. The worst thing you can do is make it more than an anomaly or even discuss it extensively. Just brush it off as if it never happened, and it probably never will again. Story 86. If you are not against oral, then doing that just for a few seconds could help. Sometimes I inexplicably go to a semi-halfway through. 5 seconds of oral always gets me back to where I need to be. Story 87. He probably had performance anxiety or his testosterone levels are low. A 25-year-old shouldn't have any problem. Tell him to talk to a doctor. Sorry that happened. Story 88. The best thing is to sincerely treat it as no big deal. He was enthusiastic before he got close, so I bet he's interested in you. Nerves, mental health, alcohol, and a variety of factors can interfere, especially if it's the first time. I've been embarrassed during initial encounters only to later deliver a satisfying experience in subsequent ones. Don't worry about it and let him know not to worry about it. Story 89. When I got out of a long-term relationship where we had stopped using condoms and used one with the next girl I had sex with, I was in for quite the rude awakening. I had forgotten how much it reduces the sensation. Story 90. The good news is this is all positive. He sounds like a person who, in the back of his mind, is making sure you're still okay with everything before he gets carried away in the moment. It's a sign he cares for your autonomy on some level. I wouldn't worry. Story 91. It's all nerves. Just don't judge or dwell on it for long, and don't talk too much about it. Reassure him adequately and move on. Let him control the pace. Maybe even give him the chance to use toys or something on you to give him time to recover or regain the erection. Story 92. That thing is a nuisance sometimes. Can be very unpredictable. I wouldn't worry about it being a problem with you. Many different things can affect it, and the stress of being with a particular woman for the first time is overwhelming. If all else fails, try a different approach. If that doesn't work, then there are issues that need to be addressed in some form or fashion. Story 93. Definitely not you. If anything, he would probably do better if he liked you less and you were less good-looking. Anxiety can be a real mood killer. Story 94. You really have no idea what he is going through, and sometimes the penis stops working when things are on our minds. Story 95. Give him a break. It is easy for a guy to get stuck in his head, worry about performing, worry about the first time, and worry about fulfilling expectations. Be excited about making him feel comfortable because he is clearly nervous and wants to fulfill your expectations and satisfaction so much that it is getting prioritized over the task at hand. Whatever you do, do not criticize, maybe not even ask, but be excited about continuing to be intimate with him. Showing total acceptance and understanding will make you more attractive, in my opinion. My 2 cents. Story 96. He may genuinely like you and want to impress you, but it got messed up in his mind. Was he drinking? Could be alcohol-related dysfunction. Story 97. A man's ego can be very fragile. The slightest doubt about anything can lead to difficulties very quickly. I am currently navigating this challenge myself. My ex-wife said some things at the end of our marriage that, while deep down I know aren't true because of how much of a nymphomaniac she was, still managed to affect my confidence. The woman I am with now is essentially a gamble regarding whether my mindset will ruin the mood or not, but she's been making an extra effort not to make a big deal about the performance issues. Story 98. Female here, I wouldn't take it to heart. He probably just had some anxiety around it. I wouldn't make a big deal about it to him and just keep trying. Story 99. Performance anxiety. Reassure him that there is no pressure and that you just want to have a good time with no mind-blowing expectations. Start slowly and ask him what his favorite position is to begin there. Story 100. A couple of drinks will definitely help, and once you have had sex, the performance anxiety really decreases. Story 101. Oh my God. I am someone who has pretty much accepted that sometimes I can't get it up the first time with a new partner. The best reactions are always from those who really don't care. I dated a woman who focused on the intimacy and didn't seem to care about the fact that my penis wasn't joining in on the fun. She didn't care if I came or she came. She always said, "The point is to have fun, and I'm having fun." Very validating, and it took the pressure off, so it wasn't long before I got involved. Story 102. Did you try putting it in your mouth? Also, did you insist on him wearing a condom? It's pretty easy to lose it while trying to put a condom on. Story 103. Sometimes, being outside of our bedroom or a secure environment can make it difficult for us to focus. I have a difficult time maintaining an erection whenever we have sex on vacation. For some reason, being taken out of our comfort zone doesn't benefit our mental state during sex. Story 104. It's very common for men to have performance issues the first time with a partner, especially their very first time. Just be kind, understanding, and patient. Some men may have other problems, such as being fully erect and able to last long but not being able to ejaculate. If that happens, don't take it personally. Anxiety can significantly influence sexual performance. Story 105. The best thing you can do is slow things down. There's a sort of flow state men need to be in to be fully present in the moment. If it happens, know that it's not you and just be cool with him. It happens to everyone. Ask him if you can just cuddle until he wants to try again. Story 106. Hun, next time you start overthinking things, I need you to start playing with my breasts and just distract yourself. Story 107. Almost certainly performance anxiety. This can happen when you're looking forward to something and you wait a while, only letting the pressure to perform grow even more when it does happen. Story 108. Dicks can be frustrating. Penises aren't conscious. They align with men's experiences. They are controlled by the hippocampus, thalamus, amygdala, and sympathetic nervous system, which is the opposite region to conscious awareness and problem solving. This region regulates the penile sponge above the urinary tract, and men feel a spark on their phallus during arousal. When men experience arousal, it's similar to feeling anxiety or excitement, and we can't control it. Women can't control this either. If our health, lifestyle, or condition is disrupted, it can interrupt the conditioning of the penis. Operant conditioning is a basic form of learning and behavior. If we refrain from sex, some men may feel very aroused. If a man has a porn addiction, the arousal response will be desensitized due to a hedonic treadmill. Some men with poor fitness cannot produce the blood or hormones needed for a firm erection. Stressed and anxious men may have a disrupted arousal response and will not think sexual thoughts. It's not something we can control. Weightlifting helps me personally. I tend to have erections during leg workouts and feel aroused. Not ejaculating for about a week makes me feel more aroused. Meeting attractive women who make me comfortable also increases my arousal. Story 109. Performance anxiety, don't make a big deal about it. Just slow things down and start with some foreplay. Take it as a compliment. He's so excited about you that he's not thinking clearly. Story 110, he got in his own head, simple as that. Just reassure him that you will do it when the time comes. You can't do much more than that. Story 111, I'm 26 years old and experienced the same thing with my boyfriend. I hadn't had much prior experience, and the last time he was with a girl, he couldn't maintain an erection for her at all. We took our time, really built the emotional connection, and gradually moved towards physical intimacy. I have past physical trauma, so I wanted to take things slowly as well. When we finally tried, it was awkward, and he couldn't maintain his erection for long. We discussed what worked, what didn't, and what we might want. By the third time we tried, he made me his focus for the next 10 hours and couldn't stop. Story 112. As some of the comments have stated, it's most likely first-time jitters. It's nothing you or he has done wrong. It boils down to nervousness. Story 113. It's actually a good sign. He likes you so much that he is really nervous, and that affects his performance. Take it as a compliment, reassure him that it's just nerves, and know that next time he will be ready to go. Story 114. He was stressed. Be cool and don't pressure him, just as he didn't pressure you. And massage his feet. Story 115. Most guys I have slept with lost it the first time. It's just anxiety. I always try to reassure them by telling them it's okay and they don't have to be nervous. Usually that works. You could also try giving them a massage. It works wonders and really relaxes them, getting them in the right headspace. Story 116. If a guy really likes a girl, nerves are definitely a situation. Unfortunately, next time might be even more nerve-wracking because he messed up the first time. The only way to get over this is to say it's all good, or however you want to express it, and do some work on yourself. Story 117. This is the perfect example of a self-fulfilling prophecy. We worry we won't match the expectations of the lady because we usually put her on a pedestal. Therefore, we cannot match said expectations for various reasons. The first time with my wife, I couldn't get the fireworks going. We had been at it for almost an hour, and it started to hurt her halfway through. She didn't tell me, but I saw her vibe was not the same, so I tried to bring her back into the moment. But once it started hurting her, we both felt bad. She thought she was just not my type and felt awful about herself, and I was worried I hurt her. So we talked about it and decided to just snuggle under the covers and watch a movie instead. Sometimes it happens again. She's an anxious type of person. Even though I told her it was okay, I could follow her pace and be patient. Sometimes it makes her anxious. For a lady, I would suggest trying to lighten the mood, like snuggling naked under the covers to make him think of something else. Then, when you feel he's relaxed and seems ready, try to fool around, maybe fun wrestle a little bit. I myself like to fun wrestle a bit with my wife to get in the mood, especially naked. Sometimes stuff happens, sometimes not, but more often it happens. Don't put pressure on yourself or your partner. The most important part of a healthy sexual life is fun. If it's a chore, then you've lost the main goal, which is to bond with each other. Story 118. This happened with my last girlfriend. It was my first time with a girl, and I had the first time jitters. I usually need foreplay like kissing and touching to get ready. When I had a hard time, I apologized. She said, "That's okay. I'm here to help." She then started to give me a hand job to get me ready again, and everything went well after that. Story 119. This has happened to me twice, once in my early 20s and once a few weeks back. The first time was because I knew she was going to tell everyone. She was attractive and discerning, but I knew she talked to her closest friends about her experiences. She came over specifically because she had heard things about me. I couldn't fully perform for her, making her the one dissenting voice in my otherwise stellar reputation. The second time, a few weeks ago, was because I'm in love with someone I broke up with. I felt like I was cheating, even though we were no longer together. Women sometimes have misconceptions about intimacy. Occasionally, performance can be affected by feelings and emotions. Story 120. It's likely not you. Sometimes if a man is nervous, this happens. No need to overthink it. Try foreplay a little more before trying next time. Kiss more before undressing. Maybe try somewhere that's relaxing too. There's a lot more pressure on a man. You women only have to be there. Story 121. Be kind, patient, and loving. Tell him it's okay. It's not you. It's him being nervous. Doesn't mean anything about you, really. He most likely wants you very much and is frustrated. Story 122. Not all that unusual. My worst erections are usually the first time I have sex with someone. I now make a point of not worrying about if it happens. Sex is so much more than just penis and vagina, and I'm happy to enjoy the whole process whether my penis cooperates or not. I've never had a problem long-term when this has happened. It's not you. It's never the woman unless they specifically say something belittling or creepy, and if so, the man definitely knows what specifically caused it. Story 123. For me, when it happens during the second round, it helps when my partner takes the initiative by going on top. The less I have to think about, the better. So lay him down, get between his legs, and either stroke or suck it. Give him some kisses, rub his chest, and make him feel wanted. If all of that doesn't work, ask him what you could do to help. I don't think there's much you can say to make him not feel a certain way. Just try to make him comfortable and not shame him. Story 124. It happened to my ex. I wondered if it was me too when it happened, but he just went into overthinking. It was fine afterward. Story 125. It's normal. He could be nervous or have a lot on his mind. Just keep going as normal and you'll be fine. Story 126. Leave him if a man isn't aroused by you and isn't interested unless he has a medical condition that makes him unable to. Story 127. You don't. He was probably nervous, and you wouldn't want to make it a big deal because that would just make things harder for him if he knows. It's common to have difficulty getting an erection the first or even the second time I sleep with a new girl. It's just jitters. Once I'm used to them, I can then proceed. Story 128. Just start touching yourself while looking into his eyes, telling him how hot he is or how he makes you feel, or make out with him as if nothing happened. He'll be up in no time. French kissing with tongue helps me if I'm in my head and also makes me more excited if the girl knows how to use her tongue. Basically, take his mind off it in that moment. Story 129. Just let him know that it's okay and that you're willing to try again when he's more relaxed. I promise it will do wonders for both of you if you're patient around that. Story 130. Take that as a compliment. I started dating this girl I was extremely attracted to, and the first time I couldn't get it to become hard, and I was only 17. But after that, I had no problem, and usually when we got together, I would have sex with her until I couldn't come, usually 3 to 4 times. Story 131. He was just nervous about performance anxiety. Try making him comfortable as much as you'd like to be comfortable. Story 132. Sometimes nerves can be overwhelming the first time. I cannot stress enough how important and undervalued foreplay is. Kissing, touching, and exploring each other's bodies is not only a great way to build intimacy, but also really helps get you in the mood. Story 133. It's almost definitely not you. There's a lot of pressure that comes from that, and he was probably just a bit nervous. Story 134. You can just try again another time. If he can't get it up, just lay with him and cuddle if he's open to it or go back to hanging out. Don't make a big deal about it. If he seems worried, calm his concerns and tell him it's fine. There will be more than enough chances in the future, even if you only want to have sex once or twice a month. It will all help. Guys can't perform sexually if things aren't right in their head. Similarly, guys can overperform like premature ejaculation. Ironically, wanting it too badly can also cause us not to get it up. Isn't it ironic? Story 135. I've heard quite a few men say that the more they care about and like a girl, the more likely they are to lose their erection due to performance anxiety. I think it's a pretty normal thing and doubt it had anything to do with you, other than how enjoyable you are. You could ask him if you did something to cause it if you'd like to bring up the topic for a little clarification. But I can't say, as a man, how he'd want you to go about it. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.